As the Winter Olympics got underway in Beijing, President Putin of Russia was the star guest, meeting President Xi Jinping before the official opening. China and Russia announced a new partnership, with China saying it'll back Russia's foreign policy aims and saying it supports Russian demands that NATO halt its expansion. That is seen as an implicit reference to the situation in Ukraine. Mr. Putin hailed the agreement as an unprecedented pact of cooperation. President Xi and Vladimir Putin held their talks hours before the opening of the Games, which had a relatively low-key ceremony amid concerns about COVID and a diplomatic boycott over human rights abuses. From Beijing, Robin Brant reports.
China's capital city, an Olympic host for the second time. The Bird's Nest Stadium, built for 2008, is still glorious.
China.
The red flags of the hosts, still so familiar.
As the president watches on.
But there's a different man in charge now, and it feels very different in 2022. Xi Jinping promised a safe, efficient Games. Dozens of participants who've flown in have been quarantined with COVID, but so far the bulk of the world's Winter Olympians are ready.
The biggest team at the Games, the USA.
For the athletes, just getting here is a lifetime achievement, but their leaders have stayed away.
Team GB have taken to a Winter Olympics.
Britain, like Australia and around a dozen others, has joined a US-led diplomatic boycott, a protest over what they claim is egregious abuse or even genocide carried out by China against Muslim minorities here. But this leader was here. In fact, he was the star guest. Russia's President Putin is one of 20 or so presidents, prime ministers or kings who are keen to show their support for China in person. But Mr. Putin came for more, face-to-face talks, and he's agreed trade and energy deals and a new friendship of closer cooperation with China. They used to share communist rule. Now what binds Russia and China is concern about resurgent US influence, as tension over Ukraine increases by the day. This was yet another showcase for a very modern China. But the truth is, almost everyone in this city is cut off from these games.
For most people in Beijing tonight, this is the closest they're going to get to the opening ceremony of the Olympic Games. Watching it on a roadside near the stadium or on a walkway over the motorway. We're actually being moved away from this area at the moment. Now, that's not because there aren't enough tickets on sale. There are no tickets on sale to members of the general public. That's part of those extreme COVID restrictions.
I came to feel the vibe, this woman told us. Standing at her side, her son asked, "Can we see it or not, Mum?" "It doesn't matter," she said, "at least we're trying." The moment the Olympic flame was installed was a subtle one. No big cauldron set alight. But not so the other message sent out by the hosts from this stadium, that China and Russia are forging a new, much closer friendship.
The Olympics is always used by the hosts as a showcase, and what China wants to do 2 years after the pandemic first emerged here is show the world it can put on a good show, and also something that looks like normal. There is diplomacy to be done though as well, and it's born out of division. Now, this newly enhanced, burgeoning relationship with Moscow is a delicate one for Xi Jinping. Go back a few decades, it hasn't always been a friendly relationship. But he and the others around him at the top of the Communist Party now think they can show more support for Moscow. And in return, Vladimir Putin knows he can increasingly rely on China, the world's second biggest economy.
Robin, thank you. Robin Brant reporting.